Hello, everybody on LinkedIn and YouTube. Welcome to another session of Ask Danny. This is awesome. So without any further ado, I'm going to switch over directly to the comments view. All right. So hopefully this comments thing will pop up. Hope everyone's having a great day so far. Hope everyone is finishing off the week extremely strong. Just let me know where you guys are coming from. Preeti, thank you so much. Shiva, I can see you from Melbourne. Thank you. All right, Ivan, welcome. Awesome to have a local Sydney sider on the session as well. Okay, yeah. So we'll just kind of hang out here for a little bit. I mistakenly scheduled this a little bit later than normal than I'd like. So hopefully we'll actually get some people on here because I don't know if the LinkedIn algorithm really likes me or not. But yeah, hope you guys are doing well. Feel free to ask me any questions. Devanshu, great to see you. Preeti from India, awesome. Yeah, let me know where you guys are tuning in from. How's the weather like over there? This is just nice and chill. We'll have a bit of a relaxing session. Stacy, awesome Friday evening in Dallas. Is it Friday already? Should it be Thursday? I think it's Friday in Sydney. David, great to see you from San Antonio, Texas. Yeah, I always get really confused by time zones. Like I said in my last live stream as well, like time zones are the devil when you're dealing with actual timestamp data anywhere. Devanshu from Delhi, awesome. Durba, hello from Sydney. Tumi from South Africa, awesome. Good morning. What time is it over there, actually? Is it Friday evening already? Oh, crazy. I don't know if you're traveling from the future, Stacy, but that's amazing. Pre-Friday. Okay, makes sense. Oh, because it's Friday, early Friday. Okay, it all makes sense now. Okay, Luis from Mexico, welcome. Yeah, so feel free to simply have a chat with me in the comments. If you have any questions or anything that you want some answers to, please go nuts. I'm here to help you guys for the next hour or so. So yeah, just enjoy yourselves. Okay. Yes. Oh, I've also got some auto messages popping up from myself, which is kind of meta, but yeah, okay, there's double messaging. That's not great. Hopefully that's fine. Ricardo, great to see you again. Okay, yeah, so I'm going to open up the floor. So Shiva, first question. Could you please shed some light on emerging trends in reporting services and clinical informatics? Okay, I'm not quite sure what clinical informatics is, but I'm guessing it's something to do with the health industry and clinical health and different things like that. Reporting services. I know that there's quite a few like business intelligence and data visualization reporting services like you've got Tableau, Power BI, there's another one, MicroStrategy. There's tons of different, let's call them products or services that are available at the moment. And yeah, I think as more and more of the data that's coming from that clinical and the health and the hospitals and the different things come into standardized databases that are easy for data professionals to actually get a hand of and start using some of these tools, I think there'll be more and more of these, let's call them, more and more of these products and automated reporting will become the standard. And I think they'll be really useful for, let's say, practitioners or health practitioners or doctors or nurses to actually use that information to make real-time decisioning. And I think that's really, really cool. Looking forward to I'd say the next 5 to 10 years will be really critical for all of this stuff, because I think as we see more data and the different use cases will come through, and then we'll get all this new innovation. And yeah, I can't wait for that. Okay. Thanks for confirming that, Shiva. Devanshu, I can't remember, or BPM tools. I don't know what the BPM stands for, but I have actually worked in a place where they had Pega. So Pega, from my limited understanding, Pega is like a decisioning tool, or it kind of routes different things related to different rules. We actually used it within the bank for a lot of the marketing communications. So if customers fall into certain segments, or if they're eligible for different campaigns, we're allowed to go through different paths and then qualify these customers and make sure that we can actually send them some email campaign, or send them out some message on their phone, or different things like that. I thought that Pega was really good at scale. There was business process management. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. I'm not sure if Pega was being used for the wider business, but we definitely used it for customer communications. Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. The build process is pretty involved. So we had like Pega specialists coming from all over the world to Sydney to work on this major project. I honestly don't know much more about it, but we, as data analysts and data scientists, we were using it to we would essentially build our models, put them in production, and then some part of the process would suck in some customers based off their model scores or different things like that from the machine learning outputs. And then we would run certain experiments, and we would target them and look at the results, see if they clicked on some sort of digital campaign that we sent them, or different things like that. But yeah, it was quite good and very robust. I felt that there is some aspect of custom implementation that needs to be done. But apart from that, I thought it was pretty robust and good for larger businesses. Yeah, definitely. Okay, Jose, great to see you. Thursday night over there, awesome. Let's see. I have no idea what a Prosky framework is, Shiva. So you might have to let me know. Vipul, great to see you, man. Awesome, great to have you on. Yeah, just I know it's nearing the end of the week, and probably you guys are a bit tired. So if there's not too many questions, or hopefully there are more questions and more people joining this live stream. So make sure you like this post, add your comments. Ideally, if you guys can share it as well, they'll help the algorithm do the thing. So, but yeah, hope the week has been going fine for everybody. Okay, Durba, I have a question. I'm an international student in Sydney, currently studying data science at Macquarie. Awesome. How do you find internships in Sydney? And you can only work 20 hours a week. All right. Sydney is an interesting market for data science at the moment, I think. There's, in terms of internships, it is actually, I would say, relatively difficult to find internships in Sydney. Maybe someone from Sydney can correct me if I'm wrong, but for Sydney, there are certain areas within, like, let's say there's different areas where data scientists are working. So there's in retail, so you've got like the big supermarkets, you've got the banks, you've also got the insurance companies, and there are tons of other companies that are looking for data people as well. So what I would suggest is to definitely have strong portfolio projects. So you can share with your prospective hiring managers, start connecting with different people within Sydney, and you can do a lot from there. I think starting off by doing the networking, joining some of those associations. So my friend Paul Cunningham runs like DSAI. It's like, I forgot what it stands for, but some of the guys might let me know. But yeah, feel free to join some of those different things and try and network your way into roles, because I think that's the most important thing. Breaking through as a student, that'll be the most important. Hope you're doing okay as well. It's a bit rough for international students coming in Sydney because you can't fly back home or anything like that. So hope you're keeping in touch with family. All right. Satyajit, I hope I said your name properly. Welcome. Great to see you. Graham, awesome, man. Thanks for the compliment. Rohan, yes, I will. I've actually kept this mustache for, I think, for the last almost 2 years now. It hasn't been growing for 2 years. Right? I have to trim it every now and then. Otherwise, I look like my girlfriend always calls me a rat because like my mustache just grows too long. But yeah, thanks for that. Shiva, change management. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not too familiar with that, to be honest. Chelsea, awesome to see you here. Great to see some of the Hype Runner team as well. Welcome, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. Hope you guys aren't laughing too hard at me. Kevin, awesome. Thank you so much. Durba, thank you. Okay, LinkedIn user. I'd love to know who you are, but unfortunately, for some reason, it just doesn't work. Yeah, great to see everyone here, and thank you so much for the support. Hopefully, we'll get lots of questions in as well, so I can do the thing. Okay, Mahil, thank you so much for your question. What practical applications of data science have you seen in the CCTV space? Example, face tracking. This might be talking more AI, but I wanted to put it out there. Okay. This is really cool because I think video processing is definitely going to be the next frontier for a lot of the deep learning applications and the AI applications. I have heard of all these crazy things like, maybe not CCTV, but there was doing, when I was at the bank, they actually had some initiative in Singapore where they were taking CCTV data and kind of tracking at an individual customer level. So let's say you walk into a branch to do some banking or something, and then they would match your face, match all these other aspects. I think usually it's just facial recognition, and it would tag you as a certain customer from the database. And then by the time you talk to the teller at the bank, they'll know exactly who you are. They might even have like all your details up on the computer already, so you have really personalized service. I think that will be a really cool space, albeit a little bit creepy, but it's not too bad in the realms of deep learning and AI applications. But yeah, you can do all sorts of things with CCTV. Like I think people are analyzing how people are walking, like the speed of walking or different things like that to identify bad actors. That was like in a defense thing that I read before as well. But yeah, you can do all sorts of things. Like one of the, like every time I go in and into a car park, for example, and I drive my car, there's like some number recognition for my number plate. So then I can't like drive back in and get free parking again. But yeah, there's tons of different things being done for CCTV data, and I think that will increase over time. Okay, Ricardo, thank you so much, man. Millen? I can't see. Yeah. Millen, thank you so much for your question. Working as a business data engineer, sometimes I get confused by how to study data structure and algorithms. Can you please help me out? Okay. Honestly, the data structure and algorithms is an area where I'm relatively weak in. Like I've done it before, but they're threshold concepts for sure. So if you've studied them once, it's very hard to forget. For me, it's been a long time since I've actually been asked any questions around those types of algorithms and stuff. But I think the general computer science, computer engineering resources will definitely help you out there. What I would recommend is to, like, some people would say, like, go and implement them and explain it like I'm 5 or different things like that. That will be probably the first place to start. Read some of the source material, the references, and try and simplify it and explain it to someone as though they're a child, essentially. That would be the best place to start, I would think. Okay, Seema, awesome to see you again. I've been smashed by a few comments, so I'm running a bit behind. What's your most interesting data science project I've ever worked on? I've actually worked on something where I was combining, it was more like an engineering task, to be honest, but I was working for the supermarket and I got to combine a lot of data sources from Google, from their Facebook data, Instagram, their website, as well as the customer shopping behavior. And I got to combine it into one data asset that everyone was using to generate time series type features for their machine learning model. So I think that was really cool. LinkedIn user, okay, I'm really behind on some of these comments. I want to pursue a career in data analyst with no prior experience. What project should I choose to move my career? I would actually recommend anything to do with digital marketing is probably a good place because you cover a lot of different things and a lot of people want digital marketing data analysts. So I would start there. Shiva, for the benefit of numerous data science enthusiasts, could you please give an overview of managing a capstone academic and analysis project? Okay, that will probably be a whole video by itself. But I think the main thing that you need to cover for any sort of capstone is the I would say like once you implement it for a business, ideally you try and have a project which is relevant and can be implemented for a business. I think that will be perfect. But I think the most important thing is to capture the value of what you're doing, whether it's statistical analysis, machine learning, or anything like that. If you can convert back what you've done technically into something that has business value, that's ideal. I think that's the most important thing, especially when you're trying to break into the industry as well. If we see that you've got some good commercial savvy and you've done the work to actually do the technical analysis, and then you're combining them together, that's ideal. I think that's the space that you want to be in. Okay, Vipul. Awesome. Please send through that resource. Feel free to share it directly in these comments as well. Vipul is a genius, so just be careful what he's telling you guys to do. Okay. Gerardo, I've always think of you as an older person because of your PP. Okay, cool. I'm not sure how to interpret that, but awesome. Thank you so much. Mohil, thanks. What are the key growth areas for data science over the next 5 years? Where are your key areas of expertise which drives your interest in data science? Okay. Let's talk about the growth areas first. I think growth areas, cloud computing will be one of the main ones. Cloud computing, doing more things with, I would say like deep learning is very important as well. But it's not something that everyone should jump into straight away. What we'll see is that there's a class of problems where you can use deep learning and the more advanced in inverted brackets, machine learning techniques, but they're not quite developed yet at the moment. The majority of problems that we're dealing with are probably using tabular data with rows and columns, time series style predictions, and different things like that. I would say that having a core focus on that area within the next 5 years and making it really strong and robust will be perfect. But also continue learning more stuff for the deep learning when the time comes that more problems are coming through, where you can use machine learning, deep learning, and stuff to actually solve them. And my key areas of expertise that drives my interest, I've always been very curious about data itself. So I've always thought about, okay, if some process is creating some data, how can I use it for something? And that's been essentially the drive of my whole career, is trying to figure out what data means and how I can use it meaningfully to do something with it, and hopefully better the world or do something for society or do something good. So yeah, hope that answers your question. Milan, thank you so much. Yeah, hit up Vipul. He's a smart dude. LinkedIn user, thank you again. Satyajit, I'm sorry if I'm messing your name. Danny, I'm a decision scientist. I wanted to know if higher education, like a master's or a PhD, is really required to be in the game. I would say that it is not required to be in the game. Sometimes I feel that so PhD is more around research, and masters, I feel that for a lot of the people here, there's I don't know, I feel that people really want to have a master's because they feel that that's the way that you can differentiate yourself from the rest of from the competitors who are coming in. Sometimes, I would say a master's is really great if you have a really strong focus and you know what you want to do and you're going through it. That's awesome. I know a lot of people who are watching this probably have their masters as well. And I think definitely very valuable. You can learn a lot within a master's degree. But these days there's if you're working currently and a master's is expensive, it takes time. Are you going to do it part-time? Are you going to do it full-time and not work during those periods? Things like that. You have to weigh up all of those things in mind, because I don't think that they are I don't think a master's is a deal breaker to be in the game. If you're already working in an analytics role, you're already in the game. So you just need to be a bit, have a strategic view of how you're going to maneuver around and move into data science or machine learning. And that's probably the trick. Okay, Gerardo, PP equals profile picture. Okay, awesome. Luckily, I didn't misinterpret and say anything live. That would have been interesting. But yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, my profile picture is actually a few years old. So I don't have a mustache in it. So I don't know if I look younger or older or more smart or anything. But yeah, thank you so much for your compliment. Okay, and awesome greetings from Mexico. Thank you so much. What time is it over there in Mexico? Is it around 10 p.m. or something like that? I'm not too sure. Okay, Vijay, thank you so much. Hope you're learning a lot. I don't know. I don't know if I've actually shared that much information today, but hope you're enjoying it at least. Okay. Yeah. So, any questions at all? More than happy. So we've gone 20 minutes so far. Cool. So just in case you're wondering what I'm drinking, I have a soda stream at home, and I love like diet soft drink, like Diet Coke or whatever it is. So if I randomly burp during this live stream, it just means I've had too much carbonated drink. So sorry. Okay. LinkedIn user, thank you so much. Okay, do you recommend a one-page resume for a data science analytics job application? I actually recommend a one-page resume for any job application. I feel that when let's say you're a hiring manager and there's a lot of stuff coming in, you just don't have time to go through everything in a lot of detail. So one page is ideal. You can always have like links, like workable links within a PDF to a GitHub repository or your personal blog or website or GitHub pages or a Markdown blog or something. That'll be awesome. I think that is becoming more and more of the standard. These days, if you have let's say you have like a GitHub and you're currently a data analyst and you're trying to go for a data scientist role or something like that, it really helps you to stand out. Like I was actually rewatching some of my live streams to try and chop it up to make some more succinct videos. And I talked about that over and over and over again. So I think that that's very, very important. Yeah, I would say one page resume is more than enough. 2 pages, you might lose the impact, or you don't have too many examples on there, or you're not using the space as efficiently as possible. Okay. Shibanshu, awesome. Yes, it's morning in India. Hope it's a good time for everyone there. Gerardo, 8:20 p.m. in Chihuahua. Awesome. Is that where the dog is from? That'll be awesome too. Shibanshu, 8:50 a.m. in India. AJ, hola amigo. Where is AJ? Where are you from? And Jose, 9:22 also. Perfect. Okay, Tim. All right. Good perspectives on whether you have to have Postgrad qualifications to be in the game. Yes, I totally agree. And to me, no questions from my side. I just enjoy the conversations. Awesome. Great to hear. Okay. Tim raises a really good point, because I feel that a lot of people see that very successful data scientists have postgrad qualifications, and they kind of equate, it's like the correlation does not equal causation sort of thing. So just because someone has a postgrad qualification doesn't mean that that was the thing that helped them get the role, or that was the thing that helped them be successful. It might be, but it's just something to be aware of. Like, it's not always required. Okay, Jose. Danny, which books do you recommend to start in this world of data science? There are many, many, many books. I read quite a lot of technical books on my computer, but usually just to look at the code and to learn different techniques and maybe more about the stats and stuff. So I would say that one book that I usually recommend to people is like R for Data Science by Hadley Wickham for R. And there's also a few like free books for Python data analysis using pandas. I think those are really good places to start for everyone. You can Google them, or if someone knows the link or something, you can feel free to share it directly here. Okay, Gerardo, do you know any tools for genomic data scientists? Honestly, I've never worked in the health industry or genomics or anything like that, but if anyone who's tuning in has a say on something like this, I'd love to hear from you. I would say that genomic data science, from what I understand, it's like big, like sequence style predictions. So chances are they're using some sort of, I would say deep learning is probably something that's happening there. There might be something which is converting these long sequences into something like sentences or something, some sort of vectorization that's going on. I have no idea. I'm just kind of making stuff up that kind of makes sense to me right now. So, but yeah, I would say Python R is probably used for a lot of visualization as well. SQL if they've got lots of databases that are there that are storing all their data. But yeah, honestly, I'm not too sure. Okay, Vipul, what are your thoughts on data engineering? Oh, hey Joe, how's it going, man? Joe probably has some thoughts on data engineering too. Do you suggest aspiring data scientists as well to at least gain some DE basic knowledge or keep focusing on data science? So Spark, Scala, etc. Okay, so I would say that there's quite a lot of utility in actually understanding the basics of data engineering, especially when you're dealing with data pipelines, massaging the data and doing different ETL or ELT or different types of processes where you're getting data from some source database or somewhere and you need it for your data science models. But in terms of whether you need to focus on Spark or Scala or different things like that, most data scientists who are working through and learning some of the things, like I see a question about Julia as well from Kevin. There's just a lot of languages and different tools that we have to learn. So I would say that focus more on the data science and the data analytics, the data engineering, all of those tool specific things will come with time. I do think that Spark is like there's a lot of demand for it at the moment, and it seems really hot. But I would say that don't worry about the tools and learn more about the fundamentals. Okay, Kevin, have I worked with Julia? I have dabbled with Julia, and I'd love to work with it in a professional sense. But I'm actually using it to relearn some of the deep learning for myself. So I go through it and try and like read some paper and try and implement something in Julia for like using all of the like you can implement base layers and different things in math directly in Julia. So that's what I'm using it for in my spare time whenever I have spare time to do something like that. But I'd love to use it professionally because I think that there is a future for it, especially with all the promises of the parallel computation and different things like that. Julia is something to definitely keep an eye out on, I would say. Okay, Shiva, Using R for Introductory Statistics by John Verzani is another recommended book. Awesome. I've not heard of it, but it sounds awesome if someone is recommending it as well. So, okay, Gerardo, yes, the Chihuahua dog is named after our state. Oh, wow. And it borders the US too. That is very cool. It's crazy how like I hear of all these different terms and like different places in the world, and I'm here in Sydney and you guys are from the other side of the world. So it's just awesome. Love it. Okay, Joe, yes. So he agrees. Learn the fundamentals of data engineering. Avoid learning tools like Spark for now. Yeah, I think like if anything, a lot of with me and Joe talk all the time about like data engineering and what's moving forward in the future for all of that stuff. And I think we're seeing more and more of the like I'll call them legacy Spark jobs, usually written in Scala or PySpark or something like that. And increasingly we're seeing the move towards a more SQL centric view of transformations in the cloud world. So cloud computing is still using a lot of SQL centric type transformations. So you'll see like BigQuery is another technology that you guys should be familiar with, where it's essentially Google's version of Cloud SQL. Amazon AWS will have Redshift. Azure, I think Azure has some their own thing or something. But yeah, I think Cloud SQL will be more and more of a thing. So yeah, definitely keep an eye out for that. Okay, Dr. Neha, thank you so much for tuning in from India. Ricardo, all right, having a business degree in finance and taking a boot camp in data analysis, what type of position should you apply for in the data world? Okay, so if you're currently, let's see, depending on what sort of role you're working in right now, I think it really depends. For a lot of people I usually suggest if people want to move into machine learning, data science, or the sexy type roles, it's actually easier to start off as a data analyst and kind of keep learning and upskilling on the side whilst you're working closer with data. And over time, you'll build up a really strong understanding of how to use data and do the problem solving with data. And you'll build up strong intuition of what to do. And then over time, you can blend that with your knowledge that you're learning on the side. And then you can keep extending your skills and asking for more responsibility. Maybe you want to move jobs and try on a different role, which has more of a data science or a statistics focus. So I would usually, recommend go for an analyst role first. If there are data science roles out there that are in your area where you've got specific skills that will help you stand out against the competition, by all means, you should definitely apply for it wherever you have an edge. Just the probability of that happening is usually on the lower end of the scale. So just keep that in mind. Okay, Vipul thanking Joe. Joe is a very smart man, so Vipul is also very smart, so you guys can thank each other for being smart. Okay. Tim, from the people you're working with at the moment, what are they looking to achieve by getting into data science? Are there any common themes of what's motivating them to change the world? Thank you so much for this question, Tim. Yeah, in the past few months or so, I've been launching my own Data with Danny online courses and different things like that, where I'm trying to help essentially train. My vision is all about training the next generation of data mentors. I feel that for people who are trying to get into data science, there's always that aspect of like, oh, data science is the sexiest job of the 21st century. Data is the new oil. All of those things. There's definitely a component of it. Like, there's people don't want to miss out. But I don't think that that's something that's usually stated anywhere. Like, it's kind of, but definitely there's an aspect of that. But I think that the motivation to change the world, for some people, I've actually met with a few people who were working in, let's say, like genomics or neuroscience or different places like that, where they wanted to take their understanding of machine learning and kind of increase that so then they can be more efficient and productive in their current work. And I think that's really awesome. For a lot of other people, there are more closer to home style initiatives that they want to take control of as well. So some people that I talked to, they wanted to learn the data analysis so then they can look at food waste or poverty or different things, water quality or different things in their area. And I think that's awesome too. Like, for me as an instructor and a teacher and a mentor, like, there's nothing better than to actually help these people learn the skills that they can then use to achieve amazing things. So it's, even though I'm not doing them personally, it feels that I'm kind of doing it by extension by helping these people achieve their goals. I think that's awesome. Okay, Shiva, what is a p-value? All right, this will be interesting to discuss as well. So for people who are tuning in, p-value is something which is very popular in the statistics world, specifically around hypothesis testing and different things like that, where you essentially have a p-value where you're trying to demonstrate whether, okay, I might struggle a little bit here, but the p-value so usually when we're doing a test, there's some sort of, like, let's just go with a standard A/B test. So p-value will demonstrate how likely a result from some intervention. I need to draw this actually, but essentially it's like your p-value will give you a measure of the probability of how random or how likely your result is going to be from this set of data that's coming through. If it's above a certain cutoff threshold, so usually the most famous threshold is the 5% or the 2.5% or different things like that, then you can successfully reject the null hypothesis and go on with your day with the hypothesis testing. I don't think I explained that very well, but in essence, it's like the probability of something coming from a certain distribution. And if that probability value is going to be outside of whatever the bounds that you've put it in, then you can you can reject the null hypothesis. Okay, Kevin, do you have any experience with reinforcement learning? I have not personally, but I've always thought about how I can use it for my different things. I always thought that it would be very cool in financial markets, but it's very difficult to actually craft together your data sets and the systems to actually make it work properly. So yeah, I'd love to do more in reinforcement learning. Just haven't found the chance or the time to do that, to be honest. Okay, Abdul, hello, Mr. Danny. What is the difference between data analysis and business analysis, and analytics as well? So I think that they are all very, very similar. Probably for business analysis, there's more of a focus on business processes, how different complex systems actually are designed and how things are going from one team to another or some different. So most of it is process focused and how these are impacting the business. For data analysis and analytics, it's more about having these processes in mind, then how can you kind of move towards understanding and driving some insight based off what happened in the past. And then a lot of people think of data science and predictive analytics as what's going to happen in the future. But a lot of it is rooted in using past data to make some sort of forecast or prediction about the future as well. So I would say the main difference between data analysis and business analysis, usually with the focus on process, more heavily skewed towards process for business analysis. And for data analysis, it's less about the process and more about the data and the numbers itself. Okay, Mohammed, I'm taking a statistics course. How would you advise building intuition, I guess, behind different probability bounds? I get the math, but struggling to find real world applications. Any recommendation course or books? So for me, I did actuarial studies at uni, so we were kind of drilled about probability and probability distributions from probably around the first year or so. I actually didn't really understand it when I was going through uni, so I kind of had to play catch up when I was working too. So I would say that the most valuable books that I read about probability and real world application of the statistics was probably by Nassim Taleb. So literally anything by him is awesome. He's not for everyone. He's kind of like a very interesting author. You have to enjoy his style and appreciate it. But I feel that his books really helped me understand how the mathematical components of statistics and how it actually mapped to real world scenarios in very simple terms. So I really enjoyed his books and I found that they really helped. But yeah, I feel that for the intuition behind different probabilities and stuff, the more you relate it to simple day-to-day events, the easier it becomes to actually grab that intuition. And then when you throw yourself into different scenarios where you have to actually apply these things, I think that's where you build even more intuition as you go through it as well. Okay, LinkedIn user, what would be a recommended strategy of executives to develop data science and AI capabilities for business and also to incorporate in business pilots or use cases? Okay, this is probably outside my realm of expertise, but I can talk about how I would want to do it if I was an executive. I've never been in an executive role before, so I can only make generalizations about this. But I would say that for executives, probably those capabilities, they need to have really good quality data. If you don't have good data, you can almost like kiss your data science and AI dreams away. The most important thing is always going to be about the data and how can you maintain it? How can you give it meaning? And then how can you use it to actually solve some of the problems that you have with the business? I would say that the most important thing is probably to make sure that everyone is aligned throughout the business. Data comes and usually gets generated by different parts of the organization. So the more that you can align everyone into like, okay, say we're moving into the future, we want to use all the data and power the machine learning and different things to create a more efficient, more productive, data-driven decisioning sort of culture. I think building that culture is the most important thing because plenty of times we've seen that where you have lots of different players in different silos and people want to do their own thing, it can lead to not great and suboptimal solutions, especially for the machine learning in production. So I would say, yeah, the most important thing is to drive the culture, making it very data-driven, and going from there. That'll be the most important. Okay, Shiva, thank you for your understanding. Yeah, I'm better at drawing things and explaining it, but yeah, I wasn't expecting to be answered of that one anyway. But yeah, there's definitely I think there is a definitive way to answer p-values, just I can't do it right now. Okay, Gerardo, I would love a job in biomedical data science, but these positions seem to be found only in academia. Any advice on how to introduce myself into a more professional focus? Okay, let's see. I I I guess so for biomedical data science. I do have friends that are working within the pharmaceuticals industry. I don't know if that's like biomed or whether it's a different component or anything like that. Um, but I would say that it seems to be like if you have strong experience in data science techniques and you can demonstrate those skills, and you also can demonstrate that you can move around different domain areas. Once you get to a certain point in your career, if you want to move into biomed or different areas, then you can, because you can demonstrate that, okay, I might not have experience in this space right now, but I have this whole track history of learning new things. And please let me have a go at doing something like that. And I would say that there are some commercial roles, like not everything is in academia at the moment for the biomed. There's probably a skew towards the academia for sure. But I would say that, I would say that it's almost about timing, just being at the right place at the right time. Okay. LinkedIn user, thank you so much for sharing the link about what is a p-value. I felt that it was like it was almost like an interview question. I just kind of like blanked out and spaced out. But yeah, for me, when people ask me about very like specific questions like that, I usually just like, okay, go to Google or Wikipedia and try and read through it and try and jog my memory of what's going on, because we just don't keep a lot of things in memory a lot of the time. Okay. Jose, which thing do you consider is the most difficult part to be a data science? Great question, actually. I feel that different types of data scientists will have different struggles in certain areas. So I would say for me, the most difficult part about being a data scientist was probably the programming, because I didn't have a strong programming background. So I was essentially playing catch up my whole career. And I still feel that I am still playing catch up for the programming side. But I would say, like, when you think of the difficult parts, so for data science, like you can think of like program is one, math and stats is the other, and like I know I made a meme about common sense, but probably communication and business skills is the third component. Different personalities that are working in data science will have struggles with different areas, also based off their background too. So if you're not coming from a strong maths and stats background, naturally you'll have a struggle with that area. If you're more introverted and you don't really like dealing with people in different scenarios, then you're going to have more of a struggle within that communication component. But the most important thing is just to identify which areas, not just identify, but to get feedback from others about what areas you can improve on. And then you can kind of go after them and upskill and improve yourself in those areas, so you can be a bit more well-rounded. So for me, I always try to improve my programming skills, whether it's working with really technical people or learning more of the like legitimate computer software engineering type practices. So I find that really awesome and challenging for me. So yeah. Okay. Nirupam, awesome. Great to see you from India. I'm glad that the p-value kind of makes sense. I don't think I did a really good job of it, but yeah, maybe one day I'll write another post to make it a bit simpler so I can have a think through what I'll be saying. Okay. Neha, how math education should be at school level according to you for future data scientists? Well, that's a really great question, actually. I think for me, when I was going through primary, let's start at primary school. So primary school math was relatively simple for me. Maybe it's because my mum was teaching me math from like a very, very young age, as you have for a few Asian households as well. But my mum would have taught me like up to grade 8 maths or something by the time I was maybe 4 or 5 or something crazy like that. So I actually did not learn a lot at school. And then even when I was at high school, they had math, but I never really, like, I just did it to pass the exams. Like I didn't, the way that we were taught, it didn't really inspire you to go deeper and learn more about math and actually see the beauty of it. And in hindsight, I wish I had more of that inspiration and motivation early on, because I feel that when I started doing my degree, I also didn't have that same drive to go after like a pure math degree or go into physics or anything like that, which required very heavy mathematical knowledge. When I went through my degree for my undergrad, I kind of just did the bare minimum of whatever math that I needed to know to pass the exams. So I think that if for future education, if we can kind of link it to, okay, we're doing this, but this same math is being used to send rockets into space, like that would be cool. Like, and then if you then link it back to all these different things which are really inspiring, I think that's what we're after here, and I think that would be really cool. Okay, Abdul Salam, which programs do you recommend for starting data analysis, Python or R or SQL? I'll recommend my own stuff. So I have the Data with Danny program where I'm starting off with SQL first, and then hopefully I'll have time to build out another few courses specifically for data analysis for Python and R. But if you don't want to learn from me, there's tons of other resources out there. I would say in terms of programs for learning, definitely like all of the learning material you can actually find for free. There's plenty of free learning material for Python, R, and SQL. The difficulty of going after free resources is that you have to collate a lot of the different information and then assess whether it's useful for you, whether it works in your computing environment, and all these other things that play into it. So what I'd recommend is if you're looking for online programs for data analysis and different skills like that, look for the ones where you can get started really quickly. So there's like, I would say DataCamp is really good. There's a few other ones like HackerRank is really popular as well. DataQuest. There's all these other ones where you can do essentially data analysis directly in the browser. I think that's awesome because your startup time from, okay, I'm going to do this to, okay, I'm starting to write code straight away to answer problems is really low. And I think that's the most important thing. So look for programs which focus on data problem solving using whatever tools and can get you solving problems as quickly as possible. Okay, Railzip. Any words of wisdom for making impact in healthcare by using data science? It's something that I wish I could do myself. I think that the most important thing for healthcare is to, like, I think for any industry is to really inspect the data. So for healthcare, for example, there's bound to be a lot of data because they capture a lot of stuff in clinical, in hospitals and research and all these different things. I would say that healthcare is going to be a massive industry where a lot of data scientists will eventually move there once a few initiatives have rolled out and it proves that it's very effective. I would say the most important thing is probably starting really simple. A lot of the time people think that, oh, I'm doing healthcare, I need to use the most advanced deep learning technique, otherwise it's not going to work. I would actually recommend to start as simple as possible and then build a baseline and then kind of continually iterate on whatever solutions you're building until you find that the quality of whatever the metric that you're measuring or the business value that you're delivering kind of peters out, and you start getting like diminishing returns for additional work that you're working on. But yeah, I would start simple. Don't think that too simple is too simple. Like usually the most simple things might be the most impactful and the cheapest to actually get up and running into some sort of production environment or different things like that. So definitely start simple would be my key word of wisdom for that. Okay, Eric. I'm currently a support engineer, took a job during the pandemic, but I have a couple of years prior experience in database development as well as masters in data quality. Awesome. Is there a way that I can pivot into a data engineering position with my 4 years of experience? Okay, this will be an interesting question. I think that it definitely is possible, especially if you're working as a support engineer now and you have a lot of time dealing with the command line, dealing with different infrastructure and other things like that. These days, data engineers are kind of like if we're working in the cloud as well, you're essentially going to be a cloud DevOps type person also. I know that some people would say that you have to specialize in different things and whatever, but in the teams that I've worked in, the data engineers are essentially doing their own infrastructure as well. I would say that the best way to pivot, if you're currently with some database development experience, as well as a master's in data quality, I would recommend you to hop onto any of the cloud certifications and get one of them. They're starting to become real valuable in the marketplace. You can look into probably like Google or AWS are really popular. And they're quite a structured way to actually get those certificates too. For me, I'm actually, once I have some spare time, I need to get my own certificates for both of those clouds, as well as probably Azure as well, to help me with my reach of solutions that I can work with for clients and different things, and how I can teach it to other people too. So yeah, definitely, I would recommend go after some of those cloud certifications. They will do you a lot of good. Okay. Neha, thank you so much for making these comments. Yes, making math learning more data-driven is the key. Yeah, I think if the more we can make learning very specific and inspiring, it doesn't matter if it's math or anything like that. Like, there are so many times where I wish my teachers when I was younger, if they kind of linked it to what I could be doing with whatever I'm learning at that time, it might have motivated and encouraged me to work harder or like understand something more deeply. But yeah, definitely. Okay. Abdul Salam, Tableau or Power BI, which one do I recommend? I'm probably not the right person to ask this one, because I would say use R instead of both of them. But I would say that it really depends on, let's say, like the different companies that you're wanting to apply for. If you know that they are using Tableau or they're using Power BI, ideally you should learn the one that they're using, the ones like the target program or whatever it is. I would say that both are really great to learn. And I think it's more around, like for me, for example, I haven't used Tableau or Power BI in a long time. But I'm pretty confident that I can apply my data visualization skills to actually build nice data visualizations. I just need to figure out the intricacies and the details of how to actually implement it in those two tools, essentially. So I would say choose one of them, doesn't really matter, and just try and build more and more data visualizations so you understand how to effectively visualize data, and the tools just become tools to help you express whatever you need to do with the data. Okay, Eric, awesome. I'm glad that the recommendation helps. One of the most popular things that I would recommend for learning the cloud would be let's see if I remember. There's a thing called Code Cloud. I think it's like KODEKLOUD. It's like a all online browser based thing where you can kind of do a lot of the cloud infrastructure stuff learning directly on the browser. That's really cool. There's also a Cloud Guru, all one word. I think it's .net or something like that. That's really good too. That's where I'm currently learning my stuff. But yeah, there's tons of different material out there to learn all of the cloud skills. I think it's really, really valuable. Okay, LinkedIn user. I have 4 years of marketing experience and recently graduated from a data analytics bootcamp. What kind of roles do I need to search for with both my experience and skills in data? Okay, very good. Awesome work on recently graduating from the bootcamp. That's amazing. I would say definitely leverage your edge in the marketing for sure. I think if you can identify some certain industries or different companies that you want to apply for, try and I would say the searching for roles is one thing. But what I would do is probably try and network my way into some of those roles by finding and following some of the people who are working in those target companies and asking them for advice. Part of the networking style approach as well. But I would say definitely look for like a marketing analyst role or Like digital marketing is really, really great as well. I would focus on those two as a place to start, and just go from there. I think you'll be fine as well. Okay. Eric, awesome. Thank you so much for commenting those. And Abdul Salam, business development, I think. I don't know which comment that's relating to, but it might be to the previous question about what kind of roles do I need to search for. Yeah, I would say business development is one thing, but it's not going to get you closer to the data, I think. If you've taken a data analytics bootcamp, ideally you try and find a first role that is much closer to the data than your previous marketing roles as well. So I think anything where there's campaigns or digital marketing or anything like that would be perfect for someone with a lot of marketing experience. I think it will be really valuable for the team that you're joining as well. Cool. Okay, so I'm nearing 1 hour at the moment for the live stream. I'm happy to keep taking probably one or two more questions, and we will call it a day or night or whatever it is, wherever you guys are. So thank you again so much for tuning in to another session of Ask Danny. I'm very grateful for your presence and for all your comments and support as well. Makes me want to keep doing these things and keep supporting the community. Okay, Eric. Oh, don't worry about clogging the chat. It's all good. Just want to thank you for all this stuff. Thank you so much, man. And to make stuff like this more accessible for everyone. I wish when I was starting off in data that I had things like this to actually tune into and listen to and get motivated to continue working on my vision. I think there should be more people like me doing this sort of stuff to help out people in the community. I think we have quite a few other initiatives too. So I'm not the only one. There's Harpreet is doing awesome stuff. Dave Langer is doing awesome as well. Eric's always posting some amazing work. Joe Reese, probably forgetting a lot of people, but there's just a ton of people who are always out there on LinkedIn and in the data community helping out. So yeah, look out for them. They're everywhere. Everyone's here to help. Abdul, thank you so much. I hope this session was useful. Sorry for the hiccup about the p-value. My bad. I'll probably redeem myself by writing it out and trying to understand myself a little bit better. Okay. So I will do one final question. So first come, first serve. Okay. Shiva and Farnaz. Yes, I wish I had access to these sessions too when I was younger. Abdul, thank you so much, man. Vipul, thank you. Hope everyone has an awesome weekend ahead too. I think this is probably good for now unless I get a question straight away. Okay. Awesome. Last question. LinkedIn user. What is the scope of analytics in HR according to you? It would be great if you could share some of your experience in this field. Okay. So I've made a meme about analytics being used in HR where it's probably not ideal for everyone, but it said something like, if people are leaving, you're probably not paying them enough. But outside of the facetious answer, I would say that analytics in HR, there's bound to be a lot of data for analytics, for the HR field, because essentially people who are coming in, you get their salaries, their information, their experience. Maybe you have surveys that are coming in from performance reviews and different things like that. So you can try and front run anything like employee retention or churn or different things like that. Optimizing how much salary you pay for people. There's a lot of different things that you can do within the HR space. What I would be careful of is the quality of the data. So there's a lot of people think, okay, the data is there, it's in the database, it has to be correct. But when you're thinking of HR and performance reviews and all the feedback and different things like that, there are bound to be some sort of biases or hidden biases in the data, which might not necessarily reflect exactly what people are thinking as they're like giving feedback for their boss or doing different things like that. So It's just something to keep in mind. I think that there's a lot of space for analytics and machine learning in HR, especially in hiring. There's a ton of innovative companies that are doing awesome stuff there, like HireVue, that is just killing it in that space. So definitely there's a lot of scope. Try and look out for, like, read the websites for some of those things as well. HireVue is HireVue, I think. Yeah, they're doing really, really great stuff trying to understand and better improve the hiring process using machine learning. Yeah, there's a lot of different things that you can go through for that. All right. Jose, Nirupam, thank you so much. And Neha, thank you again so much for joining me. I think this is it. So I hope everyone has an awesome weekend. Take care of yourself. Enjoy a good rest and time with your family. And I will see you guys hopefully next week. I need to figure out how to schedule these events so more people can join us live. So watch this space, but I'll see you guys next week and take care. I'm going to hit the outro video. See you guys later.